Yeah, it's been a while since I've just lied in the grass, just chilling, reminiscing about things in life. But we don't get that right now. It's kind of cold right now in this time of year. That's also in part because I'm reviewing this late, but I gotta get it out. It's Sam Smith. We gotta talk about him. Let's go. Love Goes is the third studio released by Sam Smith, and we're going to talk about that here today on Yes. I can't remember if it was La 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 or his collaboration with Disclosure that was the first thing. I want to say La La La, but that's a great way for him to get introduced and then bring us his own music, which in a way, his first album was pretty different from those previously two mentioned featured songs there. And here, I think we're getting somewhat of a combination of both those things. We're getting love songs, and we're also getting some pop in here. This is another one of those albums where it feels like it is pushing the number of songs that I think are acceptable to actually have in an album, but I'm going to make an exception for Sam here because genuinely I think he did great overall. I actually think I like most of the songs. There's enough of them where I feel like I would maybe alter small details, and then there are a handful that I'm like, you know, I want to recommend these songs in particular. I'm going to go over the album a little bit, but I'll get to the highlights pretty soon. The first song, Young, I am a little puzzled because I do like the idea that it's a cappella, but I wasn't totally on board with the full production and quality of it that we got. It felt kind of like a somewhat strange intro for a die-hard Sam Smith fan. I think that you'll probably overlook that, and so I guess I'm just talking about my experience in this regard. Obviously, there's the song Dancing with a Stranger that got popular, I think it was like 2 years ago, but it's on this album, and I think it actually fits it pretty well. Some of those initial songs that I liked, I would first start out with the song Diamonds. Kind of talks about like a relationship that feels like it's being taken advantage of. A person in Sam Smith's position, you know, he would probably have more cool, worldly, materialistic things at his disposal or access to them. And, you know, somebody else who might not have that might be more into that, maybe into him. Maybe. There's probably a lot of people who have suffered something like this. I know I have a few friends who have done this, so I can understand the message that's going into this. The one that directly follows that is Another One. It's kind of describing that rare but genuine feeling that you see your ex and you see that they're with another person finally, and you are kind of thinking like, well, maybe I miss you, but I know that that didn't work, and good for you for, you know, moving on and getting something to work out, and hopefully it works out. Please just do a good job, because it sounds like he kind of has feelings for this person still. The fourth song, My Oasis, I like the beat with this one. I really am digging this one. Burna Boy, his added vocals in here, I think they worked out really well. It's a well-balanced song. I'm going to skip down all the way down to the title track song, Love Goes. That's how love goes, that's how love. He's got Labyrinth in here as a featured artist. This one's just kind of fun because the piano in here is very playful. It's trying to be a slightly more interesting melody and not too, I don't know if stereotypical is the right word, but typical, I guess. Not typical. And then around the end, it starts picking up a little bit. It becomes somewhat more grandiose out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of a shocker, but I don't think it doesn't work, so yay. Now, I don't know if he's actually marketed this song as a pop single, and if he hasn't, I hope he does, because the song How Do You Sleep, this one worked out really good. I would recommend this one. It would get a wider range of audience listeners to pay attention and want to be able to see this song performed in concert. You've probably heard the song Promises that he collaborates with Calvin Harris. This one is very groovy. I'll give him that. I don't think it's like the greatest Calvin Harris collaboration that's ever happened, but it meets the standard, so it pays off pretty well. Now, for someone like me, there are certain elements of Sam's songs that I worry sometimes could be a turnoff because I feel like he'll try to point his songs in a particular direction that wouldn't really resonate with me personally. But I think he actually keeps that in mind. I think he makes his songs somewhat more acceptable for a wider range of audiences, even though he has kind of an idea that he wants to get across. But I don't think that you could not listen to these songs if you're not filling the same shoes as he is. And a good example of that is the song Fire on Fire. This one I would describe as epic love song. As I had mentioned before, I don't really have too many negatives. There's just things within certain songs, lyrically or creatively, that didn't work for me. Very few issues with production for me personally. However, I am going to say the song that I think he wishes was probably better, that I did not fall for, is his collaboration with Demi Lovato, I'm Ready. I really don't get this one. I kind of get the idea of why he wanted to collaborate with Demi Lovato, but I don't get the mood of this song because it starts off kind of going for like a drama action kind of song, and then it switches up into like an epic romance, and it goes back and forth between those two, and I don't think it pays off. Just saying, I think he could have gotten a different collaborator and it would have been better. I really don't know. I just don't think she was the right one to collaborate with here. And I wish I had someone that I could suggest. I think there is a number of people that would have worked with this song very well. I think it was more symbolic for Demi Lovato to be on this song rather than an intelligent musical choice. But again, that collaborated with kind of the going back and forth with the moods didn't work that well for me. There is a lot in this album that is fun. There's plenty of songs in here that are catchy enough for the pop music listener. I wouldn't say there are as many songs in here that have as much impassion. I think every song in here that I could notice has kind of a backstory, and I think in Sam's case, they connect a little bit more. I think he tries to be pretty honest. He doesn't be overindulging in his songs. He just writes things, and it sounds like, oh, you know, that sounds like a real experience, and good. I'm glad that connects. But at the same time, despite how much I think he's doing a good job, I don't see myself rushing out to be able to recommend this to other people. But at the same time, it's like, oh, hey, another Sam Smith record came out. You know, I think you could listen to this and have a good time. I think anyone who is a Sam Smith fan is going to like more than 50% of the songs in here. Probably even 75% or more. So I'd say, yeah, there's plenty to enjoy in here. And I just like the idea that we get to hear Sam's voice. It is a beautiful, beautiful voice. So after having listened and reviewed this album, I'm going to give production an A-. I'm going to give creativity a B, expression and lyrics a B. And how would I recommend this album? I'd give it a yeah/good. Enough to keep me engaged. Not as much impassionment as I would like, but I'm going to give it the split grade because I think there's enough in here where I'm like, people are going to like most of this album regardless of some of the nitpicks, even the nitpicks that I have. But I do genuinely think that Sam's going to push himself a little bit more, and we'll get more in the future. I'm curious. He has tons of potential in other collaborations. Those are things and projects that I would definitely look forward to in the future. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow me in my social media links down in the description below. As well, leave a like for the video as well as a comment down below if you want to engage with me there. And remember, if you want to discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can get that yes in your life. See you next time.